Good morning, everyone. So welcome to our next Red Couch conversation. Unfortunately, Greg is not going to be able to make it this morning, so it's only going to be me. So I hope everyone is doing well. Oh my gosh. So today's topic is sugar so evil? Is it evil or not? We're going to talk about sugar. Scary sugar. I'm such a great actress. I get to practice my skill. Morning, Eva, or good evening, Eva. So
it's hard to breathe in there. It's a good thing I'm not Napoleon Dynamite.
So, welcome, Greg. We're happy to have you. I think for a second, people were going to be like super disappointed. It was only going to be me.
Oh, yeah, no. They're waiting for me.
Now, of course, he's here.
It's
so
okay.
We can have a conversation.
We're all good. We're good now.
So, let's have a talk. Let's talk about the very scary sugar.
Who are we and what do we do?
Okay, so in case you didn't know, or you don't know, and it's your first time watching one of our videos, my name is Melissa.
Shame on you for that.
Well, there's always a first time.
Yes.
So if you're watching this video for the first time and you don't know who we are, my name is Melissa.
And I'm Gregory.
And we are from RYS, R-Y-S, Conscious Fitness. And basically, what do we do?
We help people live their best life.
Yes, by helping them how to move through life, move better, eat better, and think in a different way. So think better as well.
Look better, get bigger muscles, just feel awesome.
All amazing, but all of this in a very healthy, holistic way, right? Because one of the biggest things that we are trying to bring to awareness out there is basically how to do all of this while being healthy, because a lot of the fitness trends out there, and happy. Yeah. Yes, well, that's happiness for me is part of being healthy, but you know, there's a lot of programs out there in the health and fitness industry that are like pushing people to change their bodies, but doesn't necessarily create happiness, right? So we maybe you've been there before, right? Maybe you've lost weight, but you still weren't happy with your body, or
going to the gym every day, lose 25 pounds in 6 days, challenges, not sleeping at all, miserable,
doing diets after diets after diets,
cardio after cardio after cardio.
Oh jeez, that's grueling. We really want to transform the way people see and perceive health and fitness, especially exercise, because there's so many negative things out there, and we want to make it a very positive thing. We want you guys to become healthy, fit, conscious individual. It becomes part of who you are, but it makes you happy. It's not like a means goal, but an end goal. Like it's who you want to be. But it has to be done in a very balanced way, and that's what we talk about.
Yeah, it contributes to the betterment of your life, basically.
There we go. Okay, so awesome. So today's topic, OMG, sugar. The very dreading sugar.
We're sponsored by Domino's, so thank you.
Thank you.
This episode would not be possible without you.
Okay, so and why do we talk about this? Well, it's a perfect timing because this is our first Red Couch conversation in 2019. So first of all, Happy New Year if you're watching this live or soon after. So in January, what do people do? What's the tendency out there? So people make New Year's resolution, right? And one of the very common one is this year I'm going to lose weight. This year I'm going to get healthier. This year I'm going to
go to the gym every day.
Yeah, and then we see this because, gym memberships skyrockets, and then there's no room in the gym to go work out because everybody's there for a month or so, and then it just kind of phases out. Right. Now, New Year's resolution is a different conversation, but we're going to talk about sugar today. Why? Because one of the biggest trend belief that we see out there is that the first thing people do is I'm going to go on a diet, right? And the first thing they do is I'm going to cut out sugar because everybody knows sugar is bad for you. And obviously if I stop eating sugar, I'm going to lose weight and I'll be healthier because sugar is bad for you. Correct?
Yes,
is it bad
of course.
For you? Yeah.
Of course it is.
Okay, cool.
You know what your parents say.
So let's talk about that. Because that's really, really, really important. A lot of times, unfortunately, we don't know what we don't know. And I found that working with a lot of clients, most people believe that. And just because everybody has always said that. And of course, we all know that sugar is bad for you, right? And just because everybody knows and everybody says, doesn't mean something is true. That is a belief, unfortunately. So, myth buster. Sugar is not bad for you in context, and we just need to understand you know, the differences between sugars, what we mean when we talk about sugar. And we're going to break this down in this video because, of course, everything needs to be explained in context. It's not black and white all the time.
Yeah, that's very important, because usually when people fear sugar, it's because they don't really understand what sugar really is.
You fear what you don't understand. And that makes a lot of sense, right? But first of all, let's talk about like some basics, right? Your body, from a human physiology standpoint, your body needs sugar to produce energy. And let me just be clear here, because when we talk about sugar, we talk also about carbohydrates, right? It's basically like right now it's going to be like a synonym. Carbohydrates, carbs, whatever you call it, sugar, okay, are one of your macronutrients, right? You have protein, fats, and carbs, and your body needs all three of them in order to produce energy efficiently in the body. Now, the amount that you're going to get from each one will vary from person to person and based on your goals and all of that, but we're not going to get into those nitty-gritties today. But you cannot cut out, well, first of all, it's impossible to cut it out all, like completely out of your diet because it's pretty much everywhere. But if you cut out sugar too much out of your diet, right, so you're trying to avoid everything sugar, you're actually going to jeopardize your health, okay? Sugar, carbohydrates, and if we go down, if we break it down like sucrose, so glucose and fructose and all these nutrients are essential for your cells in order to produce energy. So let's just talk about the brain, for example. Your brain has only two sources of fuel. Number one is oxygen, and number two is glucose, and glucose is sugar. So if you don't fuel yourself glucose, no wonder, like we've seen that all the time, like going on a low carb diet and people like, I can't even think, like don't talk to me, I can't even think. Well, obviously you can't think. It's just like your brain needs glucose to survive. So does your muscles, so does your liver in order to like, you know.
Speaking of muscles.
What? Oh.
Show them the gun show.
Oh, come on.
You gotta show them the gun show. Look at these peaks. These mountain bicep peaks.
Fueled by sugar.
Yeah.
And your thyroid, for your thyroid health, which is basically your thermostat of your metabolism, you need sugar in order to be able to function properly. So let's talk about the different types of sugar, because I think this is where the confusion arises, right? Because when we say sugar is bad for you, people refer to
like cakes,
yeah,
donuts, cookies, cereals, which, you know.
Most of the people think cereals is healthy.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
Okay. So let's talk about the very, very bad ones. Okay, so let's put it in context, because not all sugar are created equal. So let's clarify that first of all. Not all sugar is the same. Sugar from fruits is not the same as sugar coming from a cake. And a lot of times in those types of food, like donuts, cakes, and candies, what's the actual problem?
The POOFs, and what I mean by that is the polyunsaturated fats.
Yeah. But they also contain a whole lot of other stuff, artificial ingredients.
A lot of additives.
I mean, a lot of times in those types of food, the less harmful thing is sugar, and all the rest is
if
probably...
it is actually like real sugar, usually it's, you know,
yeah,
like a fake sweetener or high
unless
fructose
it's,
corn
yeah,
syrup, you know.
that kind of stuff. So anyways, in those types of food, right, well, when we refer to sugar, obviously we talk about all kinds of sugar, but right now we want to say there's a big difference. So you cannot just say sugar is evil and put all the types of sugar in the same bucket, right, because it's not all the same. Now, if we talk about grains, you know, grains, for example, cereals and grains and those kinds of, like flours and things like that, these are, yeah, starches are a bit more complex sugar, but these guys also are mostly, they're 100% glucose, right? So they're mostly made of glucose. And if you don't know what that is, we're just going to give you a little, like, brief description so you understand the difference, right? But, oops, hold on. Let's see, we'll have some technical issues here. No, it should work. Okay, perfect. And then when we talk about roots and fruits, root vegetables and fruits and dairy,
fruits,
roots and fruits and fruits and fruits, and dairy, you know, honey, even sugar, even white sugar is mostly sucrose, and sucrose is basically glucose with fructose. And we want to talk about this because it's very important to understand the difference. So because a lot of people, when they talk about sugar, they talk about insulin, they talk about diabetes and all that stuff. Anyways, we're gonna get into this. It's very scary. Yeah. But really, what you want to do is, just so you guys understand, glucose, pure glucose will spark an insulin reaction, right? So when you have something that's mostly glucose, which is basically grains and all the cakes and donuts and all that stuff that's mostly made out of glucose, you will have like an insulin reaction.
Yeah.
When you have glucose paired with fructose, okay, so what you found in sucrose, because sucrose is fructose and glucose together, which you find in fruits and root vegetables and dairy. Fructose. Fructose.
Sugar from fruit.
Yeah. So when you have fructose that comes with glucose, it basically inhibits the effect of glucose. So then it helps you balance your blood sugar, and it doesn't have that insulin reaction in your body.
You can bypass.
Yes, and that is why we recommend mostly sugars and carbs that contains mostly fructose with glucose, so sucrose, and that helps you regulate your blood sugar, because one of the number one thing you want to focus on, especially in the healing process or in the process of just getting healthier, is to balance, regulate your blood sugar. Yeah. All right, so and there's different ways to do this, but the types of carbohydrates and the types of sugars are super important. Now, with that being said, now that we've just said that sugar is not the bad evil that you might think, or you might have been, lead to believe is, it doesn't mean that you should go out and run and go eat all the carbohydrates that you can find and put sugar in everything. Yeah. Okay, this is super important that we need to talk about this, because all right, so if you've been on a low carb diet, like a whole lot of people that we see for a very long time,
especially in the new year, you want to cut carbs.
Yeah, a lot of people do that. Or if if you're a diet cereal dieter, if you're a cereal dieter
with the S, not a C.
What?
Cereal.
Oh, cereal. Excuse my French accent. So, anyways, if you tend to go on diets a lot, and you're the kind of person who goes like low carbs, and then you get off the diet and low carbs, and so you've been a lot of times, or you just overall your diet is like mostly consists of protein and vegetables, which is extremely low carbs. Do not go out there and start drinking gallons of orange juice and eat tons of fruits and all of that.
What's the reasoning for this?
Balance, guys.
I can think of two things.
Okay, go for it.
So one, when you put on the pounds because you're adding back in sugar, you're adding in calories. So you're getting more calories than you were getting previously when you cut out or reduced.
Yeah, because people say, oh, when I add sugar, I gain weight. So that's one of the reasons.
It's not the sugar per se. It's just the added calories that you're now eating.
Because you're not in a diet anymore. So maybe you go from eating 1,000 calories a day to 2,000 or 1,800, whatever. Yeah. It's an increase, right? So the overall extra calories. What else?
And the second is your body is not used to all this sugar now. So sugar, when it gets used, you want to use it for energy, and then you store it so you can use it again for later for energy.
Yeah.
But when you're not used to it and your body's not used to getting all the sugar, instead of using it for energy, you're going to store it as fat.
Yeah, because your body has just lost the capacity to basically utilize it for energy. It's really simple. Like, we have a very adaptive machine. Like, our bodies are super adaptive. And if you haven't been raised, like, growing up, like, drinking dairy, it is way possible that you have a hard time digesting dairy, just because you don't have as much enzymes to digest it, or you lost them because you stopped eating them for a while.
You don't have the ACE to digest the O's.
It's the same with sugar. So that's why, if you haven't been eating sugar for a while, don't go out and just eat tons of sugar, because yes, you're gonna gain weight, but it's like anything. It's like doubling your fat intake, or all of that is going to create like a reaction in your body, right? Because your body's like, whoa, what's going on? I'm getting a rush of sugar here.
And once again, when we say don't go out and eat a bunch of sugar because you will gain weight, even when we're talking about fruits and roots, because it does contain,
any sugar.
Yeah, you're adding more calories than sugar, so you gotta go super slow in adding it back in.
Yeah, so generally,
as East West Healing says, you slowly titrate up.
Yeah, I like it. Very good. So shout out. Very good. So you have to go slow, and we recommend that you start with roots and fruits and dairy if you can digest dairy, slowly. And you got to figure out what works for you too, because everyone is different. Some people do better on fruits, some people do better on roots, some people do better combining them, and then find what's in season, what's working for you, and of course the quality will make a big difference. So what else? Now let's talk about, so one of the biggest let's talk about the ones we recommend. What kind of fruits? We already said that, but let's make sure that we covered everything. So when it comes to healthy types of sugar or carbohydrates, what are the ones that we recommend, Greg?
The tropical fruits.
Mostly tropical fruits. They contain a little bit more saturated fats too.
Yeah.
And more fructose. They tend to have more fructose, and that's why.
Like, you know, watermelon, pineapple, papaya, cooked apples, cooked apples and pears I like.
Yes.
What else is there?
Lots of stuff.
Oranges, orange juice.
Mm-hmm.
Go slow.
Go slow with that, especially juices.
Yeah, liquids.
Food is better. Solid food to start with, especially if you've been on a low carb diet. Dairy, good quality dairy. If you can digest it, of course, if you have been off dairy because you think dairy is bad for you, also go slow with that. And
the squashes.
Roots, all the root vegetables.
You know, potatoes.
Sweet potatoes, rutabaga, turnips, parsnips, all that stuff. I mean, everything really that grows below the ground.
Yeah.
So, roots, vegetables. And also things like honey, maple syrup, and even white sugar. And why don't we talk about white sugar for a second? Because like people think white sugar is obviously really bad for you because it's processed, right? So let's explain really what white sugar is.
Let's look at the ingredients.
What's in it?
Sugar.
Oh, great. So white sugar is basically sucrose.
It's pure cane sugar.
Yeah, and it's pure sugar. It's the same exact, so you know, sucrose that you find in fruit.
Glucose and fructose combined, they create a son or a daughter named sucrose.
Yes, exactly. That's exactly what it is.
Yes.
It's the same exact sucrose that you will find in fruit, except that it has been ripped off of its nutrients. And what else?
And the fibers removed. Yeah.
So there's nothing else. It's literally pure energy.
Energy.
Okay, so here's the danger with white sugar. The downsides and the dangers of that is to eat it by itself because it's pure. Well, I mean, what is it like?
Don't. These aren't pixie sticks.
And what we mean eating by itself is that you need to combine it with nutrients. So to put sugar in your coffee, and coffee doesn't really have nutrients unless you put milk in it or something like that, is basically consuming like straight up energy, which is going to cause like an insulin reaction and you know, a spike and all of that.
If you're not going to use that energy right away, it's going to get stored.
Right, unless it's a pre-workout or something like that, whatever. Now, the best way to consume white sugar, not in excess, obviously, you have to go slow, and also it depends on your state of health, and you know, this is super important. Like everything depends, right? But is to, you know, put it into your food and
which is why we suggest working with a good coach.
or someone.
Yeah.
So we can refer you to someone if you wanna have more information on how to understand nutrition better. But yes, white sugar is totally okay, and not in like high amounts, because obviously it's not the best source of carbohydrates and sugar. But like fruits is better because it comes with nutrients, vitamins, and minerals and all that stuff. But white sugar is totally okay if you know how to do it right. Okay, so I just wanted to clarify this because there is so much fear around that, and I think like a lot of times what's really causing people harm is like the fear around something than the actual thing. You know,
all these preconceived like
ideas.
Yeah, notions about what you think or what you heard, and you're not really sure, and then you just go with the status quo of sugar's bad. Yeah,
everybody knows that, right? Because everybody's been saying this for so long now. It's like, sugar's so bad for you. Well, you know. I mean, that's a misconception, right? So let's talk about that. And then, so the next thing that people are afraid of is like, well, sugar causes diabetes. So, that's a big topic.
Diabetes, yes.
Diabetes. The actual culprit, like there's a lot of culprit because basically it's just, you know, it's just an accumulation over time. Like, and now we talk about type 2 mainly. But like of becoming like mostly hypometabolic or functionally hypometabolic. But it's basically your body loses the capacity to utilize sugar, right? Now, in a nutshell, I had to say it at least once, which is part of the problem. But really what the biggest culprit into this, it's not the only thing, but one of the biggest culprit is POOFs, is the polyunsaturated fatty acids. It's basically your unsaturated fats. Because the unsaturated fats will block the absorption of it. So this is what is really going to cause dysfunctions on a cellular level, and this is when people are starting having other issues, which eventually leads to diabetes. Now,
in a very simple, it just blocks sugar from doing its job, and then it pushes it pushes it away into places it shouldn't go.
So then when you do consume sugar, you have a reaction, and then that is why most people believe that sugar is the bad guy. So let's remove sugar so you won't have the reaction. But in the first place, it wasn't sugar that caused that. It's mostly POOFs that prevents you to be able to utilize sugar properly.
Where are POOFs found?
Polyunsaturated fatty acids. So
They hide
unsaturated
in the-
fats,
in the
that's what we call them
corners.
POOFs.
Yes.
Okay, where are they? Ooh.
They hang out in the slums.
What's the biggest source of POOFs? So the biggest source of POOFs are, the worst ones are like vegetable oils. So most of vegetable oils, you'll find
Canola
POOFs.
oil.
Vegetable oils, canola oils,
Yeah, soybean oil, pterodactyl oil.
corn oil, like all that
Yeah,
stuff.
pterodactyl is the worst one.
Yeah. Okay, so especially if it's man-made, obviously, like canola oil and all that stuff. But, well, they're all man-made, right? It's just not like this in nature, right? So any kind of...
It was in nature, but a long time ago.
Okay, and then you'll find POOFs also in soy products.
Yes.
You'll find POOFs in nuts and seeds, any kinds of nuts and
unwashed
seeds.
pants.
Beans, legumes, grains. Now, it doesn't mean that eating all these foods is really bad for you. It's
Yeah.
just the amount you're eating, how you cook them.
The ratio of saturated fat to unsaturated fat too. plays a
Exactly.
factor.
And the quality of it, and it depends also on like how much in your overall diet and what you pair it with and all that stuff, right? So,
Yeah.
but like trying to avoid as much POOFs as possible because it actually is the culprit of a lot of issues that people are dealing with nowadays, especially if one of your goals is to get healthier and lose weight.
Yeah, weight gain.
So we do recommend saturated fats like coconut oil, grass-fed butter, grass-fed sources of healthy fats.
Ghee.
All right, so we covered that.
Yeah, what
So
else?
now the biggest question people ask all the time, okay, this is all great. Now you told me that sugar is not the evil guy that I thought it was.
What do I do?
How do I achieve my fitness goals? So basically what most people are trying to do is like lose body fat, right? Or
Gain
like
muscle, curves, and
change your body comp,
yeah.
all while being able to eat sugar.
Yeah, and enjoy the foods that they like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Basically not going on a diet, right? Because we don't recommend it. Because actually
Or
most people we
diets.
work with end up eating more food,
More
Working out.
calories.
more calories, working out less, and having amazing results. And not just that. When we say amazing results, it's not just how your body changes, but how their thinking change, how their self-love improve, and also how they sleep through the night, their energy, their happiness, and all of that. Because it's way more than just how you look. Because how many people have we seen that look
That's-
great,
yeah.
but they're just not happy?
Well, that's what we say. What we mean when we say, we help you live your best life. It's not just we help you live better in the gym, so you can.
It's more than physical.
Yeah. It's your whole life.
Yay! So how do we do that? How do we eat sugar and lose fat? So let's talk about that. You want to start?
Where do you want to go first?
There's one thing we didn't clarify before we get there. So let's talk about the opposite first, okay? I wanted to specify that because people will go on a low carb diet or cut out sugar, okay? Because they have seen or they have experienced for themselves in the past weight loss, okay? Whenever I cut carbs, I lose weight. So it works for me, all right?
As you know, what we said previously, why that happens now, though, so you know.
Okay, so yeah, we have a video on that. So if you haven't watched that video, go check out. Well, actually, there's two, I think. But because we talk a lot about that. But why being fit doesn't equal being healthy? We do talk about that in there. And isn't there another video we talk about why losing weight doesn't always equal health or?
Yeah. I
Yeah.
guess
So,
they're kinda
anyways,
similar.
we have content around that. So if you guys want to understand why just losing weight doesn't mean you're getting healthier.
Why a beard doesn't mean you're not good looking. That's next week.
Oh, okay. So let's clarify that because a lot of people will say, well, it works for me because whenever I cut out sugar, I lose weight. Well, losing weight doesn't mean you're getting healthier.
Yeah.
And most of the time, if you have been on a low carb diet, you probably know what the symptoms feels like. Well, first of all, it's terrible. Second of all, it's really hard to stay away from carbs because your body craves it because it's your
They
body
just
telling you I
calling you.
freaking need sugar to survive.
You wake up, you start well, you have some butter.
And then you're craving
And then
everything.
you have maybe some celery sticks and lunch, and then at nighttime you hear that you're on the couch sitting, you're like,
You're eating chicken.
and then you hear from the refrigerator,
The fridge is calling you, or the cookies and the cakes and the candies.
It's
and then
me, it's your old friend.
it's a constant fight and struggle.
No. Come on.
Then you become moody, you're like snappy,
Irritable,
your mood, you get mood swings. Nobody wants to be around you, honestly, when you're on a low carb diet, and you probably don't want to be around yourself anyways. So let's be
all for the 6-pack.
It's worth it, right? So, and here's the crazy thing too. Who wants to live like that and it's not sustainable, right?
Which is why when you do add in even like the smallest thing, you start to gain weight back. You're like, what?
Well, yes, because when you do that and you restrict like sugar, for example, you actually jeopardize your metabolism. And when you start adding sugar back into your body doesn't know what to do with it, and then you're a little bit lower, your metabolism is a bit lower, and then you're struggling. So, and that's why you tend to gain weight, because your body doesn't know how to utilize it for energy, and it stores it as fat.
And your set point is now lower, so like what you were previously eating, you could maintain maybe like your body weight. Now that set point, your caloric total is lower now, so now you can't even eat as much as you were eating without gaining weight. It's not even lower.
And then
damaging your metabolism.
We blame sugar.
Yeah, it's like sugar.
It's sugar. Well, so it's so much more than that, right? But the in the first place, avoid cutting out sugar, right? Yeah. If you've been doing it, then there's a way to slowly reincorporate sugar in your diet, and again, healthy carbohydrates, slowly. So then you can slowly start fueling your body, healing, getting better, all of this while losing fat, and eating healthy sugar. So let's talk about how you can do that. Obviously, you want to go with the types of sugar carbohydrates we recommend, like fruits and roots mostly, dairy if you can digest, and then what are the other elements that come into place with that? But it's not just nutrition. Well, nutrition is super important for how you feel and how you build your body and your health. There's other components to it. Make sure you're getting enough sleep,
which is huge.
Yeah, because that can increase your stress hormones tremendously. It makes a huge difference in your cortisol level and
depending on if you're a man or a woman, you have certain sites of those cortisol sites you can put on fat.
It has to be around the waist.
Waist, yeah, thighs.
So if you have a bigger waist and you're trying to lose here, and you're doing exercise and you're eating better and you're still having weight around there, most likely it could probably be because of your sleep. Stress and sleep, yeah. So make sure you're getting plenty of sleep. Well, plenty of sleep. Good quality sleep, especially. Okay, because getting 8 hours is not enough, and we talked about that.
Do we have a sleep episode?
I think we do.
Okay.
If we don't, we will have one.
Yes.
So it's the quality of your sleep also, not just the amount of hours, but at good hours, like, between 10:30, and onwards.
And sometimes when you're in the beginning stages to heal, you need to go to bed even earlier.
Yeah.
9.
Get more hours of sleep, and that's totally okay, right? So you got to give your body what it needs and pace yourself. Proper exercise regimen. Obviously, if you're trying to lose body fat and build, change your body composition and build more lean muscle mass, we need to lift some weights.
Yes.
Then you need to get in the gym, get out there, make sure you're getting help so you do it safely. Make sure that, and then you're not doing exercises that are harming you, but actually helping you build your body.
Form.
With good form.
Yes.
We can help you with that if you need help with that. And then, so exercise regimen, but it's not about going in the gym and burning more calories and then doing 2 hours of exercise every single day. It's not that type of destructive approach. We're talking about building approach. So 3 times a week, 30 minutes, a very efficient, well done, 30 to 40 minutes of strength training exercise is probably all you need. And some people are very hypometabolic, or they have very low energy, or very a lot of health issues or symptoms. We might even start them only on 2 times a week, because that's really what their body can do, and that will help them reduce the overall stress in the system and help them feel better. What else is a component of losing fat while eating sugar? Well, mindset is huge.
Yeah.
We do talk a lot about that, because mindset not only will change how you perceive all of this and reduce your overall stress, right? It changes your perception to stress. It changes the way you approach things. It's a big, conversation all by itself. We might have to talk about this.
Being okay with where you are and removing those unrealistic expectations.
Expectations are huge.
It's been a week.
On that.
It's been a week and I haven't,
Actually, that is the main reason why most people fail at their New Year's resolution, is because of their expectations.
Yeah.
they have expectations to achieve a certain goal and certain deadline, a timeline, and if it doesn't happen, let's say you want to lose, like, I don't know, their goal is to lose 20 pounds and they lose 10 pounds, then they feel like they failed, and therefore they like kind of drop off. And it's also because it's like,
or even if you just lost 5 pounds,
it's a temporary goal.
You don't know, like most people don't know what's really achievable.
Yeah.
Week to week, but month to month.
Yeah, you don't know because it really depends on your health and your background and your context. And
a lot of times people just see those celebrity magazines where they're like, oh, I lost 30 pounds in 20 days or whatever, doing this juice cleanse, detox nonsense, mumbo jumbo.
And you know, hopefully by now you know this. I mean, hopefully you don't resonate with that. Okay, so what else? Your environment is huge too when it comes down to change. Shifting your environment, whether it's your physical environment, you know, is your kitchen nice and inviting? Do you feel like cooking in your kitchen and preparing your food?
If it's a place where you don't really like to go, then you're probably not gonna.
If is your house clean? Because honestly, when my house is clean and organized, I feel like it's so much easier to go through my days. You know, all of this will influence and impact.
There's a pep in your step.
There, exactly. It's very feng shui, and so. And you know, environment also includes the people you hang out with, which is huge, right? So do you have a community of support? Is there people around you that are healthy, fit, active, that are supporting
you?
you?
Who can smack you in the place like, hey, stop fucking up and
get your butt in the gym.
Get your mind right, you know.
Or like,
you're making progress.
Exactly. Or like, exactly. And support you in the right direction, not put you down or not telling you, you know, not discouraging you and all of that. So all of these elements are going to make a huge difference, but the main point we're trying to stress here is like it's much more than just diet and exercise, but how you can eat sugar and still lose fat is by incorporating the proper type of movement and exercise, recovery, and creating a better environment for you, and then also having to go slow with reincorporating sugar in your diet, carbohydrates, and having of course the right types of carbohydrates, so fruits and tropical fruits and roots mostly, to start with. And start slow.
Yeah, when you give the body what it needs, it does the work and falls into place.
It's you don't fight with yourself. It's just, you know, it's just your natural way of being, and that's what hopefully that's what you want. That's what we want. I mean, because you know our current diet is basically 50% carbohydrates. I mean, half of what I eat every single day is made out of sugar. Say what? It's very surprising when people are so afraid of sugar. You tell them, I'm like, what? Yeah. And so, but you know, I didn't start there. We all start somewhere. So it's a process, guys. Play the long game. If you keep that in mind, it's going to make a huge difference.
You have to play the long game if you plan on living like the next.
Well,
you know.
I mean, I think the bigger problem like goes into like because people when they set fitness goals, they set like a temporary goal. They're like, oh, I just need to lose 30 pounds and then I'll be happy. No, the end goal should be, who do you want to become, and how does the health and fitness plays a role into your life, right? So, you know, you have those goals and those dreams and how you want to live your relationships and your family life and your career, and how does having a healthy and fit body plays a role into this person you're trying to become, and therefore it becomes, wow, I need to become that healthy, fit person that will align with my you know, with my purpose, my life, and my vision. So you become that person. So it becomes just a lifestyle shift. So you become that person as opposed to just trying to reach a temporary goal. Like, I'm gonna lose 30 pounds and I'll be happy.
Becoming that person.
It really doesn't work.
On the inside and outside, not just on the outside.
You gotta do the inner work. Yeah. So it's an inside-out approach. Love that. Super important. It takes time. Okay. I know sometimes it's much easier to understand it to actually do it, but there are things we can help you with if you want to work with us. If not, hopefully all of the content that we're building is helping you to read books, get around the right people.
Ask questions.
Yeah, just, you know, all of this is going to help you. And yeah, you can do it. We love sugar. Sugar is good for you, of course, in context, and it depends on the types of sugar, and depends on much, and depends on your state of health. But don't be so afraid of sugar. And if you're unsure, just ask questions and educate yourself. This is really important. There's really good resources out there that explains you, because some people like wants to understand how it works, right? Because just telling them, oh, sugar is not actually the bad guy that we were led to believe, it's not enough for them to like understand it. So, and we found that with clients, we often often recommend our clients to go out and read some articles and read some books and some information on the topic so they can really understand what's happening in the human body, and so it makes sense for them. Because when you have clarity around a topic and you understand it better, of course you're going to be more consistent because you're going to believe into the process, and it's going to be much easier to stick with it, as opposed to just following whatever someone told me. And that generally doesn't really work for you because your old habits and beliefs and patterns are going to kick in, and you might revert back. Yeah. So that is it for us, right? Is that enough? Did we cover everything?
Well, parents, stop telling your kids that if you eat sugar, you're gonna get all hopped up, and then you're gonna look like this, and you can't like function, and you're all.
Actually, if your kid is hyperactive, most likely he needs sugar, and so.
She's a mom.
Or if he's emotional, give him a healthy snack, some fruits with some cheese sticks, whatever, and then you'll see how life is so much nicer after you eat, especially when you have sugar.
Yeah.
It's amazing. So if you guys have questions, post them below. We would love to hear from you. Hopefully this was helpful. Let us know if you learned something. If you still have questions on that particular topic, or if you have any other questions on any other topic, because we're building this content for you guys. We're hoping to help you solve problems, to help you understand things, to help you start perceiving things in a different way that really is helpful to you. So don't be shy. Reach out to us. Send us a private message on Facebook, an email at riseconsciousfitness@gmail, RYS. Anything. Instagram, Facebook.
Yeah.
We have a website. You can find us personally.
Rise.today.
Rise.today, RYS.today. Yeah. And if you have any questions on the programs, also reach out to us. We have an amazing program. Oh, let me say that too. For January, we have a super special promo. We only do once a year, guys. So if you want to join our ladies program, we currently have 30% off your first month when you commit to another 3 months for a semi-private. It's a really amazing deal. So if you want to join us, it is the time right now.
You'll be with other amazing women.
Yes. And community support, and learn all of that amazing information. And if you prefer doing some one-on-one coaching, you need more help and all that, we can also help men and women one-on-one.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, just to clarify, you can send fan mail to me. Every time we get it, it's always with her name, so there's just some mistake. You can write my name on the.
You're allowed.
Yeah.
It's because of the beard. You guys have a great start to your year. Please, reach out if you need anything. Don't hesitate.
And just remember, if you mess up, it's not like the end of your resolution. You can always get back right to it the next day. Don't just. It's not black and white.
Perfection is.
Yeah.
That's another topic. We'll talk about that later. All right, guys.
As always, stay delicious.
Have
Eat
a good
your
day.
sugar.